Hello everyone and welcome to our meetup today for Tech Excellence. So first of all, an overview about us. Our vision is to raise the bar of technical excellence across the world. And the following is an overview of some of our past speakers as well as some of our coming up speakers. Also, please make sure that you've registered on Meetup so that you can receive our future notifications about events. And also, if you like this video, feel free to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. And also, you can follow us on LinkedIn and Twitter. Additionally, we also have a GitHub community where you can ask any technical questions that you might have. So for today, I'm really happy to announce that we will be talking about a really important topic, the essentially tech interview cookbook. So with Rodislav Moldovan and Adrien Muller. So they both work at BIL Luxembourg, working as a software craftsman, and also Adrien as a technical coach additionally. And Rodislav is also the founder of Becoming Tech. So I'm really excited about this session today. And now I will hand over to you.
Hello. Thank you for the invitation, and hope you enjoy. As you introduce us, we are Software Craftsman.
Yes.
We are not recruiters, professional recruiters, let's say.
Yes. Human resources is not something that we are programming. Let's put it like this way.
Voilà. So it's important as an introduction to say that what we present is our experience, and it's just to share with you, and hopefully to have a good exchange at the end, and
Yes.
see what you think. So my name is Adrien. I was developer for years. Then I started with Agile a few years ago, and I did not quit software development, but it's difficult to maintain
Two things at
the same time. I like also to solve problems with the human.
Related to human resources, you mean?
Exact. And Rodislav?
Yeah, my name is Rodislav Moldovan. I'm a software craftsman at BIL. I'm one of the things that I've noticed is as well that quite a lot of companies are dealing with the same issues like we are trying to solve at BIL, technical excellence, human skills in the teams, and so on, delivery of the product. So I've created a company called Becoming Tech, which is trying to solve this as an offer to the customers.
So about our context. So we work as a software craftsman. We do technical coaching, agile coaching in our company. We are in this transversal team, craft team. And we are not recruiters, but we would like to help in a context that we are in the last mile of a big bang before we change the core banking in our company. It's a really huge project which has started 8 years ago and should finish in the next months.
Yes.
People are really overloaded with work. They are not able to do the recruitments by themselves, not even to onboard the people. So we try to help them. It's not easy.
Yeah, the goal here, considering that the teams were so busy with doing their own projects and doing their own development, what they needed first in case of bringing more resources to a team or replacing certain resources, because people come and go. So one of the main things that we needed is to actually find the candidates with the required skills for the team and for the mission for this particular huge project. So required skills for the team and the mission. This is very important because you can find developers quite quickly, developers who can write code, read code, or do some debugging or whatnot. However, due to nature of, because it's banking, because it's finance, because it's lots of inputs into this formula, it gives us some particular challenges in order to not slow down the teams and provide as good onboarding as possible for everyone, for the candidate, for the newcomer, basically, and for the team.
We immediately see the challenge with that. The first thing was that we were not looking for one candidate for one team, but imagine that we have 5 to 4 teams in parallel that are each one were looking for sometimes 1, sometimes 2 candidates. Let's say we received how many CVs? I don't remember, but
yes, more than 100 eventually.
But yeah. This is a graphical overview of only the people that we met. We met around 100 people.
Yes.
And on all those people, you can see the
ratio.
The ratio was around 75%. It was KO. It was just a no. And OK was like 15%.
Yes.
15%. So imagine that if you need to spend 1 or 2 hours for each candidate, there is like 100 candidates, a little bit more.
And multiplied by the number of people who conduct the interviews.
Exact.
This will be multiplied by X number, which in the end will cost you a lot of man hours to deliver. And if you go through the CVs, that's one thing. But sometimes you see the CV and you know clearly it doesn't work. And quite often you see the CV and you are not sure. So you need to balance. How much time do I have? Can I see this candidate?
Let's say with the CV, it happened to me once that we were looking for a technical coach, and we received the CV of a sport coach. The guy just see coach and he sent the CV. It was a sport coach. So it's easy. You can just say no. But most of the time, you receive a CV with hundreds of references.
Yeah.
People have seen like what is related to the people, what is related to the project he worked on. It was like impossible. So let's say what we tried. A session of, like we said, 1 hour and a half, 2 hours, with everyone related to the offer. Like we are both here, the candidates,
somebody from the company, account manager.
Voilà, account manager, something like this, and 1 or 2 people from the team, like the senior developer from the team, tech lead, and the product owner.
Yeah.
At least, voilà, this kind of meeting.
So it was becoming, if we can make a reference to mob programming, it was basically mob interviewing, which meaning it was just too many people in the room, which was giving us quite weird, not only to us, but it was really not so comfortable for the candidate in front of us. And the results were corresponding with the experience.
And most of the time it was hard to cut it short. It means like we have this meeting set up for 2 hours. And what if in the first 15, 20 minutes, we immediately see that, no, it will not fit. It was awkward to stop here because we have like 5, 6 persons coming here. If you stop, it's awkward, an awkward situation.
Yes, because quite often people, regardless of the sides, from the bank, from the candidate, from the account manager, people were having this this element that you say just purely awkward, and some people were saying, yes, but why did you book 2 hours if you weren't sure, or you were sure, but why didn't you check for more? So it was very difficult to satisfy everyone, and it was
And but as we said, when we started, we had experience with recruitment, but not with this kind of volume.
Yes.
We had done recruitment in the past with Rodislav, but not with this kind of so many people to meet. So, like, we go quick on this slide because you have understood that it did not work. But just to give you an idea also of what did not work so well was like trivia question.
What do we call OOP?
OOP, what is OOP? Like people then can just learn what is written on Wikipedia and what is REST. What is REST? Also, a question that we thought were good at the beginning, like what is the most challenging project you have worked on, and can you draw it? It looks like it's a nice question, but after we tried this a few times, we just went to the conclusion that it was like with the same as with the CV. Like people say things they've seen in the project, in the context of the project, but we don't know if it's what they have implemented themselves or if it's someone else.
Yes.
What are the problems that you solved, and what did you learn? It's not with this kind of question that we know that.
Yeah, and the two open questions, for example. 2 open questions, one that we used to ask, for example, what happened when you type Google in Google? It's a question where you can give a speech, you can give an workshop, 1 week workshop on what is happening behind this question. You can even answer it instantly. Well, I get my search results, So it's too abstract and it has too many details. So you never know, the candidate never knows when he or she needs to stop in order to know for sure that the answer was delivered. This is what the interviewer was expecting, or maybe should I need that? Should I bring more details to the answer? So questions needs to be balanced. Questions needs to have a certain balance. Otherwise, if it's too closed, then you will get only answers yes, no. If it's too open, you just risk to do 30 minutes on what is a DNS. So
that's the issue. So that's what we tried, and at the end, after let's say a few weeks, we came to this approach, and there is 3 parts that we will detail, but just for you to have an overview. First contact is, let's say, a short meeting, max 30 minutes. It means sometimes it's 20, it's enough. Yeah. Really just to understand, but we'll go into details what we mean with that. But first contact, and it can stop here.
Yeah,
it can stop here. So we don't we check the CV a little bit, but not too much. If the CV match the technology and the experience seems rather okay, we make the person first contact. If it went well, or if we have doubt, if we are not sure, we go for the technical assessment. Technical assessment could be with screen sharing or with code review. That means the candidate share the screen. We ask him him or her to code something, yeah. Or we share a piece of code and we ask feedback on the piece of code, and then we organize a meeting with the team. The idea is that we don't take too much time from the actual team.
Yeah. It's usually 15 minutes, up to 15 minutes for the team, and it's usually after the technical assessment.
In total, we should not spend more than 2 hours in total for the 3 steps, and we try not to spend too much elapsed days in between, so we are still fresh with what happened with the candidate. So let's go into details of each part. First contact, what is interesting for us, it's about what is the personality behind the CV. And as we said, what is related to the candidate and what is related to project he worked on those. So understand, imagine you are, it's normally not so difficult to imagine for you, but you worked for 10 years in the software development. You have a CV, a lot of technology, etc., etc. But maybe in the last 6 months, what you did is what you want to pursue. So maybe 90% of your CV is not relevant because what is interesting you is what you did in the last 6 months. Or maybe it's the opposite. Maybe it's the last 2 years are not something you want to continue, you want to change. So that's why we want to discuss with the candidates, what are you interested to do in the future? And we ask simple questions like, what are your top 2 technology? And
then we follow up.
We follow up
on the answers.
Voilà, we follow up with open question. Understand what are the pros and cons, and for instance, we never ask like 3 questions just to or trivia question, as we said. We never mention TDD if the candidate does not mention TDD. We would not ask what is TDD and how you put it in place. But if the candidate mention it, we just ask, okay, so what is TDD for you? What is the good state in your opinion, etc. It's just that we are interested to know,
to learn about the person.
To learn about the person.
One moment here. I'll add a quick comment. The main goal of the first contact basically is to get a first impression based by a couple of questions. For example, in your CV you worked a lot of back-end and front-end applications. What protocols did you find the most efficient, and why these protocols are efficient, or what kind of architectural principles do you think are best fit into this particular example? If the candidate mentions that yes, how you put some technical excellence in practice, or how you have you done any clean code whenever you are coding? Did you practice clean code? Did you focus on that? And if the candidate starts to say yes, I did XP, TDD, I don't know anything, then we ask, okay, then what is TDD for you? How did you implement it? So again, it's really to learn about the person and the perspective of this person. And when we ask the questions, we can say, okay, we think that the variable's name should be like this in case it gets to that, or for us TDD is blah blah blah. And you see here we think here we have different opinions, but it's not a problem. We explain that we all want to learn about each other and we want to know if basically we are compatible.
Like candidates say, I like to do code. I code with a lot of attention to quality.
Yeah.
Okay. What is quality for you?
Yes.
If you are not able to answer that, then we probably in 10 minutes we know that we don't continue, and it works.
Yes. So basically, we are not simply using the keywords to follow up, but we use the keywords that the candidates are putting accent on. So in this way, we follow up and voila.
So next step, the technical assessment. Funny thing with that, as I said, we
have 2 forms.
2 forms. So zip file, we send the zip file by email, and we expect that candidates understand what we ask. It happened that at the end it does not work anymore, does not compile anymore. So it's first thing, it has to work. Also, we are looking for over design and time box. Like if we say you have 30 minutes to do one thing, just focus and try to make pass at least one test or something like this. We had also some interesting discussion with that, because one of our colleagues once told us, "Oh, your zip file, everyone in the place, he has the zip file and it leaks. It was leaked, and you need to change it." Then we discussed. We had a brainstorm, and we said, "Okay, good. It's a good thing that it leaks, because in this zip file, what we've put is like example of things that we do. Like
Yes. We did TDD in that project. So you had PDD, it had various design patterns.
And framework that we use, and
Yes.
the way it was like things that we do. So we say, okay, if a candidate spend time with a leaked version of our zip file, spend time to make it pass, then good, we can work with him,
yes,
or her, and it's good. So at the end, I think it's even it could be a strategy to make it leak.
Yes, because at the end of the day, this is in our exercises we are not sending please parse a binary tree, or please sort I don't know, using pool sort. We actually sending one app that is managing quotes from movies, voila, or doing some basic CRUD or anything of this level. So the goal is not to do algorithms, usual algorithms that 100% nobody does in our in the industry where we're in the not the industry but in the business that we are working. Usually we do business algorithms, but a technical one. So we want to test what we need and we come back to the first idea, matching of the skills and matching of the profile. So if it leaks, fine. If the candidate will prepare and learn about this, perfect. It's absolutely no problem. The candidate can learn beforehand, before joining us, and can prove that the learning is paying back. No issues about that.
And so, as you mentioned, we have another way to do something. It depends on the time that we have. It depends on maybe our mood. If we have
I think it's
file too much.
I think it's the mood. Yes.
Then we can share the screen and ask the candidate to imagine that we are you are yes, or maybe you are coaching two newcomers in the team. We have write some code, and what would you change? And we can see how does he speak, how he explain his choice, and things like this. It's interesting also.
How the candidate is using the tooling, the IDE.
The tooling that we don't see with the second option, but it's also important for sure. It's not only code; it's how the candidate is using. Is he fluent with his IDE?
He, her.
Voilà.
Yes. So and how this person will be able to communicate to us while working. Are there any emotions involved? Is it clean? Is it simple? Is it let me finish it and then I'll talk? Or can we talk along the way? Can we ask questions? Can we do pair programming maybe? So it's all these kind of things, of interactions that most likely will happen in the work where we are working today. And I'm pretty sure that it happened to most of the people attending to this live session today.
Okay, so technical assessment, and the last part is that if every step before went well, then we do finally it's able to meet the team. The idea is that at that part of the recruitment process, we have an idea that we can work with the candidate, because we know before how the team, what are the framework technology that the team is working on. So if the candidate have faced successfully the two sessions before, we know we can work with the candidate, but now we need to, the candidate need to decide also after he has a discussion with the team. Both has to get a feeling because at the end we don't work with the candidate. We know that technically it fits. Of course, in the discussion, we also mention things like how the teams are organized, what is the size of the company,
typical day.
A typical day. But this is a crucial aspect. The member of the team also they may ask questions, but it's not usually it's not again something that.
Usually the members of the teams, when they are asking questions, they are asking questions related to their daily life. For example, a team who is doing the document management. Well, they are using Documentum. So what kind of questions we can see is, did you use Documentum? Yes or no? No, the question is over. If you used yes, which version? Did you use the certain engines, particular engines, or blah, blah, blah? So these kind of questions, some other teams might say, look, we are doing lots of, API, we are using API gateways. Can you tell me how would you use an API gateway? Or it can happen, but usually it's mostly, again, for the team to know things particular or specific to their job because the team is living this every day, or because the team saw other colleagues beforehand who never managed to learn the project or they learned the technology, and then they had a bad experience. Everybody in the team had a bad experience, so they're trying to prevent this kind of little quirks beforehand. And just a moment,
Right.
When we meet the team, what we consider is that it's crucially important for the team to meet the candidate and for the candidate to meet the team. It's extremely important, especially in physical, if it's possible, to meet them in place, to see each other, to have a feeling, to see if there is a chemistry, or to see if there is anti-chemistry. Or people, for some reason, regardless of the reason, it literally doesn't matter what is the reason behind, if they can work together or not. Because if a candidate just comes into a team and they start working right away, and there is no chemistry, or even worse, anti-chemistry, let's put it this way, this can break the team. Can break the deliverables, can create too much friction. So no.
There is no magic. I think we try to be objective on the if the skill of the candidate can match with the needs from the team, but at the end the choice is subjective. It's if they have a feeling or not together.
Yes,
for sure. They will spend at the minimum 8 hours a day together. They need to connect. Yeah. We did that in the context of the pandemic also, which was it helped us to do these short meetings because, of course, before it was not common to do video conference recruitment. It was like people are coming, they spend physically, they spend time in the traffic. They need to.
Sometimes they can take a plane because they live I don't know where.
You did that, huh? Already, huh?
Yeah. So it can be coming from another city, leaving stuff behind, passing the interview, which is a lot of investment. And the traffic, in Luxembourg, the traffic can be really sad experience. Huh?
So now, even if we are mostly coming back to the office, we still keep that the first contact is always in video, online, because we don't want to lose time for the candidates and for us. We don't want that the candidates lose time, and we don't want to lose our time, of course.
Yes.
Okay, let's see what our findings about that. Imagine that we spend like around a year We started December
about
last
a
year.
year. Yes.
About a year.
Yeah.
So we did that intensively for a year. First thing, yes,
I like the image.
to be in the shoes of the candidates. To like, we want to do something that we would like to have. Like if we go to an interview, we would have liked that it was like this. So we don't ask question that we would not like that someone asks us.
Yeah.
Trick question, that silly question, or
Indeed. Trick questions or silly questions are can create friction. That's number one. Can create an impression for the candidate that you don't know the subject since you are asking it, and already there is a lot of emotions involved. We are humans after all, so there is lots of emotions when you are coming to interview. When you are organizing the interview, you have much less. However, when you are coming to interview, most of the time you have emotions. So trick questions can actually be a bad thing for the candidate, and the candidate can completely get stunned and don't understand what is happening, why discussion even exists, and so on. So this is not okay. We tried a couple of times to use very light trick questions. What we had to do after that, it's mostly me who is trying to do that, to see if this can work or not. However, I was usually spending after that 5 to 10 minutes to bring back the mood, positive mood, and to let the candidate make comfortable and let know that no, it was just a trick question, no worries, blah blah blah. So this is breaking the rhythm of the interview. It's not bringing anything valuable. It can make it can improve your own. You can satisfy your own ego, but it's not bringing a valuable outcome from the interview. So no.
And we need also to make sure that the candidates feel comfortable.
Yeah.
So we really prefer that it's like if we are at just discussing between, like if you were already colleagues and we're discussing.
Yes.
Voilà, what happened. So just to say, this picture, it's just what we don't want to happen. Huh? It's not the result of the interview. Huh?
Yeah.
We don't want that someone is in this mood after we met him.
Yeah.
Also, what we found out, well, it's easy that you've seen the statistics, like 75% of no-go from our side, and of course it's not because the candidate has no qualification. We have met candidates that are developing Java for 15 or 20 years. So we don't say they don't know how to develop. For sure, it's not the problem. It's just that we don't look only for
skills,
development, hard skills. Yes, we are looking for soft skills. You said, but also
particular skills
and the candidates which fit a mission that is difficult. Like
it's a core banking change in our case. However, it needs to have some particular skills. Just writing Java for 15 years doesn't mean that you know very well the Spring Boot framework or Quarkus framework. Or doing lots of Spring Boot doesn't necessarily mean that you know very well Java itself, because maybe you wrote the whole 10 years, you just wrote MVC controllers. I don't know. That's it. So it's we are really looking for a specific collection of skills for different companies, for different teams.
Voilà. And for that reason and other, we also avoid to give direct feedback to the candidates, like work does not work. I know some people, they like to know should we continue or no. But in our experience, few times it went okay, but most of the times it was really bad. Like even we received sometimes like people that are coming back to us a few weeks later, that they are still thinking about, yeah, you said it does not work, but look, I've learned that, and
now I know.
Yes, but now we don't need someone anymore. We found, and I know it's difficult. We had to make a choice, and it's
Giving direct feedback, what we saw, even for people with quite a lot of years in experience, quite a lot of years in experience in interviews, giving and taking interviews. For a lot of people, it's very hard to get a feedback. Very, very difficult. And first of all, it's difficult to give a feedback. It's even harder to receive a feedback. So giving feedbacks on the spot and saying, look, we think your profile match here, but doesn't match here. And you see, we need this particular skill set because we have these projects and they are in progress or they're about to start or blah, 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 things. And it went, I think we had like 2 or 3 cases when the feedback was fine out of slightly more than 100. So the feedbacks, at the moment we stopped giving feedbacks just like this. And when people are coming for a bit of feedbacks, we said, look, it doesn't match the skill set. And after this discussion, we saw that it doesn't fit. So we're sorry about that, but we are not going.
Ego, frustration, and also sometimes it's just easy, simple, but we can be wrong also.
Of course. Yes.
So, okay, we did feedback, we give feedback, but what if we were wrong anyway? And it's like this. We need to make choice. We did a choice. Maybe it was the wrong one, but nothing to do with you. It's just not you. Not this time. Maybe next time.
Yes. Yeah. By the way, we had candidates who were coming for some interviews. The answer from our side was no go, and then 6 or 7 months later they will be applying again, and by the time they will prepare or they will learn some things and it will pass. We had this experience as well. So in the end of the day, we still decided to not give feedback because it was risky. It was possible to create more problems than solve problems. So this was our solution. However, you are free to add in the comments your experience with feedbacks. And if you have some suggestions, then please feel free. And then we can talk about that after the slides.
Let's see a few slides before we go to the question. But a few observations also.
Yeah.
Not many ladies.
Yeah. Oh, this is yes. Yes, this is
just a plain fact that
unfortunate fact.
We were. I don't have the reason for that, but we had around 5% in our statistics of candidates, and it means that we have hired maybe 2 or 3.
I think two, yes.
Also, we discussed that we try to avoid trivia question. It's sometimes difficult for the candidates. They are used to, or they expect trivia questions.
Yes.
So when as we don't ask trivia questions, sometimes. It's not always, but sometimes we feel like it's difficult for them to give not the Wikipedia answer, but to give their answer. Yeah. What do you think? It's sometimes difficult.
Yeah, so just to give you an example, we had a candidate who told us, we have a couple of candidates, I think 3 or 4, who explicitly told us, I'm not comfortable with you answering my opinion. I prefer that you are asking me questions like what we call OP. And for us, we said, okay. So we switched to this trivia format, and even the answers weren't appropriate. So every time, And what is happening as well when we are asking people, let's imagine you are saying in the team, well, because you mentioned before that you practice TDD. Let's imagine that we are starting a new project and you're saying, let's practice TDD for this particular project. And can you tell us more? Why would you go with TDD? Because you mentioned and you say you want to use it and you used it before. And why would you go with TDD? And usually in such questions, people are saying, well, TDD is a set of practices where you, and we're answering in a wiki format, in a trivia format, and we're saying, no, that's we all know what's TDD, but for you, why would you how do you think this can bring value or speed or quality or anything? I mean,
so this and we did.
And we did, yes.
We did, and we keep ask them. No, we did. What you did? What did you do in this context? So,
yes.
And last observation is make me smile also.
Yes.
Really 2 years of pandemic and people don't have a camera and a microphone. But
sometimes on a 30 minutes meeting, we spend 15 minutes waiting for the candidate to set up the microphone or camera. Even though we are sending and we are asking explicitly, please make sure that you have a working camera and microphone.
Which is sad.
Which is sad, yes. It's something that we didn't expect it, let's put it this way.
Okay, now to go to the conclusion and maybe have more an open conclusion.
Yeah.
A few food for thought. Our idea was to discuss about our recruitment process, but there are topics which are linked to this and that we would like to discuss with you in the Q&A session after that. Of course, we are interested to know what are your opinions about what we just discussed. Also, what interests us is about how to retain the talents, because you see that it's a lot of effort to work with good candidates and to find the right person for the teams. It's about the company culture. There are a lot of things in that, like giving autonomy to the people, that having a community. We had at BIL, we had a community of practices. We have like architecture that is not top down, which is collaborative, things like this.
Yes, and
try to enforce that. And
so, for example, we worked on breaking, not breaking, but actually maintaining the collaborative, as you said, in order to avoid having ivory towers or any other things like that. So when the company allows you to develop a culture, that works. If you don't have a company culture, if you cannot have autonomy or you don't have the concept of work-life balance, conducting a nice interview, it can be dangerous because it can backfire. And how exactly it can backfire? There are many ways. First of all, it's just mouth to mouth. This person will just say to other people, they had such a nice interview, they're asking such nice questions, I went there, and what I had to do is just write programs that are parsing XML files, and that's it. This is everything. This is all I did. So, and I wasn't free to choose my tools. I had to write Java code in Notepad++ or stuff like that. So if you are conducting the interview, your interviews needs to be associated with with the company culture, because people will speak mouth to mouth, will pass the word. And believe me, usually the bad words are passed, not the good words most of the times. And they can give bad feedbacks on Glassdoor. You can get bad posts in LinkedIn. So please make sure when you're building your interview process that this interview process is aligned with your company culture, with the values that you want to bring forward. That's very important.
Also for us, Luxembourg is a small country, and
just one more. What we speak when we say small country, just to be clear, the whole country has 620,000 people. So the entire country. I think for some of you, it can be only just a part of the city having this population. So it's very small.
Work-life balance, of course, since the pandemic, people have changed, and now they want. So one of the questions that we are the most asked is about what is the remote working policy, and etc. etc. About the diversity, so we said we made a constat. It's about there is not so much lady who are applying, and we don't have a solution to that, but there are a few things that we can take in account, like in the hiring strategy. We most of the time we don't speak English, we speak French, and in French there is a difference. We are looking for un développeur or une développeuse. We make a difference in the wording. So most of the job offers, it's looking for un développeur.
Yes, indeed. And which will translate like we are looking for a male developer.
Voilà. So it could be a blocker. Sometimes it can be only a matter that if a girl read this, she just don't recognize we are looking for un développeur.
Oh, yes.
I'm not a male, so it's not for me. So things like this, the bro culture in the open space, like okay, let's have a beer after work,
yeah.
But
pizzas, beer,
voilà,
LAN parties.
What if I don't drink alcohol?
Yeah.
And what if I would prefer to go to a spa, or I would prefer to something else than a beer, or what you see?
Just a walk in the park,
Just walk in the
a
park.
team.
I don't see. So this bro culture is dominant in the today in the open space. I'd say that it could be an issue. And also there are things that there are less in our we don't have an impact on that, but education. We have an impact as
we
parents.
managed to have an impact. You mean about removing the education part?
No, I mean like you are a parent of two girls.
Yes.
It's about your education, how you educate your kids.
Yeah.
Like before, when we were kids.
Yeah.
It was a strong culture of computer are for male, and girls they prefer.
Yes. Girls with the girl toys and boys with the mechanical computer and cars.
This is changing, has changed, but we will see the result of that in 15 or 20 years.
Yes.
So education is something that is the responsibility of everyone to change this mentality, stereotypes, and probably a lot of other things. But it could be a talk only about that, and it's not the point.
We did a talk about that in Luxembourg JS. We have a meetup in Luxembourg called Luxembourg JS, where we speak precisely about JavaScript, and we did a talk about women in tech. Precisely, we spoke about JavaScript, so I invited JavaScript developers, women who spoke about that, and all of them, everybody said the problem it's social things, social pressure, education, and at home, in school, wherever, is that girls computers, no, it's not a mapping. So yeah, indeed, it was a huge thing that came out of this discussion, which we did live in our meetup. And I wanted to add here about education one detail is we completely removed the education section from our job postings. There's no such a thing where you need to have a high school, a middle school, university, business, whatever. So in our job postings, IT, precisely because we work in the IT department, we remove the education, because education, yes, we all know education is important. No questions about that. Any education is important. However, you can finish psychology, and you can build the best, or criminology, I don't know, and you can build one of the best tools for code scanning, which is CodeSyn, for example. Or you can never finish an IT because you did something else, and you can write the most amazing books for IT, like Spring Security. Or there are many cases when people never finished an university, or not an IT university, and they became really great influencers today. So education is important, yes. However, this is not a requirement. This is an asset for you as a candidate or as a human. This is not a requirement for the job. The job at the end of the day, you can do it, good. You can do it in the team, even better.
Agree. That's it for the slides. Open to question. Valentina, how was the chat?
Great. Yeah, so first of all, I want to say I really enjoyed this session. This was definitely an out-of-the-box discussion about the interview process, and this is something which also where I also have a strong interest in, since I've also done a lot of interviewing, and I see recruitment as crucial, because if a company makes a mistake in recruitment, then later it just feeds into all other problems. And the other also really important highlight that came through this presentation was the emphasis on culture. So here you presented to us, okay, what's the tech interview process, assuming we're looking for high quality developers who will be working in a company which actually has this engineering culture. So I think that this was really a great takeaway. We will now then switch over to the questions. So how do you evaluate soft skills? Is the meeting with the team enough? Or maybe if you could also say examples of people who had soft skills versus who didn't have soft skills. How do you differentiate between those people?
Soft skills, there are few aspects. First thing, two main aspects, let's say. First thing, are they able to explain their choice? Because we emphasize on the teams. They will work on teams. It's not like they work alone and they work on a project and they deliver soldier mode. They need to work in a team. Then it means they need to receive feedback, give feedback on the code, explain their choice, and we have design session, also design chapter, where you need to
defend.
You have an idea, you need to explain why it's a good idea, what are the different ways that are the possible ways to do, why you choose that over that. So
our interviews basically are running like this. So give an example. Please, I'm Rodislav, description, Adrien, description. Hello, Michael, let's assume, or Guillaume in this case. Hello, Guillaume. Please, can you speak about yourself in a couple of sentences? No need to say the whole CV. Just present yourself, like pitch your profile if you want to. And with this, for example, we're already testing if the person can stay coherent and not speak a lot with a couple of words. And then we are asking, why do you want this? What is the reason you are using this dependency? What is the reason you are using this design pattern, and so on? And when the people are saying, because this pattern brings us blah, 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 or the pros and cons, or what are the dangers using this? And just by asking these basic questions, which are happening all over the place in our day-to-day work, the people are showing communication skills, coherency skills, professional vocabulary skills, and so on. So we are testing everything that's tech, and this kind of questions allows us to do that. And at the end, the team, usually in the team, we have a project manager, scrum master, or whatnot, who can ask soft skill questions as well. So we have one part tested and another by the team.
Yeah. One also important aspect that we are really looking at is about is the candidate understand what we ask to do? like
yes.
you have to fix a test.
Yeah.
We say you have like 20 minutes.
Yeah.
There are like 10 tests which are failing. You don't have the time
10
to
unit tests.
10 unit tests.
Yeah.
You don't have the time to everything. Try to focus on one.
Yeah, exactly.
A lot, like half, I exaggerate maybe,
Yes.
but a lot, they are just, they don't understand. They panic, voilà.
So
Like
just for the second part, is the meeting with the team enough? No, not really. The team will ask questions. They'll have a feeling. We'll give our feedback. So we'll try to give as much as we can, because we come out as well with this idea. You said that 2 hours in total. Max 2. It can go up to 2 hours. So imagine 2 hours for candidate, me, you, one member of a team, another member of a team. So 10 hours, 2 hours interview transforms into 10 hours, 10 working hours, which is 1 Monday and 2 hours. So which is expensive.
Agree that you also have to understand that it's our context that is really the team don't have time. So we don't have to. We don't want to take too much of their time. Ideally, it would be not us who do the interview from the beginning.
Yes.
It would be
the team
without us. But it's not possible today. So it's a trade-off that they delegate to us this first part. Ideally, they would do everything by themselves.
Yeah.
Just also for you to have all the info things that we tried. We also had teams that have asked to spend half a day with the candidate.
Yes.
And it's possible when you work with contractor, consultant. You can ask them. We pay you half a day, 1 day, and just we test. You spend the time, spend 1 day or half a day with the team, and both they have a good feeling.
Yeah, this is the best. Honestly, if you can do that, that's magical.
No, if you can do that, once you have passed the first step, like you don't not useful if the candidate came for half a day and in 15 minutes you see it does not work. Voilà.
That's a good point. Also regarding soft skills, did you ever use any psychometric or psychological testing from HR, or not needed regarding these points?
No.
We never use that. In my experience, it's an amusement for me personally, because when I see this kind of tests, I always crack them to get the maximum score, the best possible score. And it's very easy. There is no magic there. And I never saw an actual value. It's very easy to crack. And
I personally, for myself, but I mean, I train myself on process communication. For instance, I spend like a lot of days working with this kind of tool. But it's not something that you can magically in 1 hour guess what is the personality of the person, etc. The person, as you said, can fake, and it's more a tool which help me to build a relationship with the person, not to put the person in a box. Does not help. No.
Mm-hmm. Essentially, you're looking mainly at the fit of the person. Is there, as you mentioned, chemistry involved in that? So it's essentially a measure of fit. It's not about are they good or bad themselves in some absolute way, but just are they fitting with you and are they fitting with the team? Is this the measure?
We try,
yes.
As we said also, we try for our part to be objective, to don't have so much feelings, because at the end we don't work directly with the person. So we try to stay focused on the process, and then with the team, of course, it's just
subjective.
It's just feelings.
Yeah, most of the time. Yes.
Okay.
Based on
Great
of course,
points.
communication, but most of the times it's feelings.
Okay, we will now go on to the next question. Well, this was in relation to the comment about the sport coach applying to, like, for example, agile or technical coach position. But here we also have the reverse situation of, I'm currently looking for a job. Every company job description contains the languages used, tech stack, salary. Not much about how the team works, nor about the mindset. So basically, all job ads are pretty much looking the same. They might be searching for Java or Spring Boot. What is your suggestion for companies, or what did you practice up to now?
So I would like to add one thing here. What we did, we're receiving at the beginning, we're receiving lots of candidates that did not fit for our job description. What we did with Adrien, well, we contacted all of the companies. We set up calls with them, lunches, business lunches or calls during pandemic, business lunches when it was possible. And we were exactly discussing what Protecta22 mentioned here. We're asking, when we send you a job description, what you understand from that? And they were saying, we understand the technical stack, but we don't understand how the team works, because lots of candidates are asking precisely this. So what we did, we first of all, we tried to improve our job description. That's one. However, we cannot go very deep. So what we did, we're sending the job description, and we agreed with the companies, when they receive a job description from us, what they will do, they will contact us and will say, give us more details about teamwork, mindset, and whatnot. And companies who will have those candidates, possible candidates for us, will send them exactly this kind of points. And this will be much easier for the companies to select the consultants they can find, or do a pre-screening for new joiners. So we did that, but we did this in a sense to improve the process that we have. And we actually, as you know, in software engineering, we discussed with the client.
What we did also, we removed before we put our hands on the CVs, on the job offers, it was like, we are looking for version 2.3 of this and this and this and this. It was really no sense.
Yes. Yes, indeed.
For us, it's clear we don't look for a candidate. We know which version of which framework. We want someone who like to learn new things, and who is open-minded, and who has focus on quality, and that's it.
Yeah, we added these kind of things: clean code, desire to share, yes, following practices and so on. Yes, indeed, we added these kind of things. Yes.
That was actually going to be my next question about, do you add the words clean code, and do you add test-driven development or anything else, or just sticking to the clean code part?
We tried to do to formulate in the following way: master of clean code, ninja in TDD, blah 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 blah. No. Eventually, all of the feedbacks when discussing whether feedbacks we received, no, it's too complex, just keep it clean. Okay, a person who knows clean code, okay, the stack, yes, we do Java, Spring Boot, maybe, and I don't know, CI/CD, whatnot. However, clean code, this TDD and whatsoever, but very simple wordings. Yes.
We have also tried to communicate on craftsmanship. Does not work neither.
In Luxembourg, do you know what's craftsmanship? No.
Yeah, exactly. Some of those words are not well known, and as you mentioned, actually the word clean code is the most widely known way to communicate. We're looking for someone who cares about quality, so many people know about the word clean code, and it could be that maybe someone does not know about TDD, does not practice it, but they write clean code, and those people would actually be receptive to learning as well.
Agreed.
So that great points. Then the next one is an interesting one. Is it possible to have a leaked version of the zip file. So it looks like you're raising the popularity. Even when you started describing what is in the file, I was like thinking maybe I want to apply as well.
LinkedIn.
Yes.
So it was also interesting how you described the benefits regarding the people who take care and who actually show interest in your file and doing some activities, and people who actually spend their own time learning, that those are also the people who are looking for. So yeah, if you ever do have a publicly leaked version, feel free to let us know.
Yeah, so contact us in LinkedIn, and we'll send the zip to you. It's
Okay, great.
it's Java 8 version, and why Java 8 is very simple reason. We still receive candidates who never did anything else than Java 8. So because we consider that everyone should have the same experience in terms of steps, organization, so on, to avoid, friends, cousins, and so on. I don't know how it's called in English, but you know the word. So to avoid any of that, everybody has the same complete experience, and that's why it's Java 8. And if somebody will ask, "Oh, it's too old," no, it's not. There is a reason.
Great. So this means whoever is interested or watching this can send you a message on LinkedIn.
Yes, no problem.
Okay. Great. Yeah, we will have your LinkedIn profile links as well in the description. What does it mean to not work out with a candidate? Can you give us some examples? You had it in one of your slides. Something did not work out with a candidate.
Not sure. Maybe you need to.
Do you remember it was at the beginning, or I don't remember?
Let me see.
There are two parts. Basically, there is our selection, like the first contact. What can be wrong?
I think maybe after. I think some slides after. I'm also trying to remember where it is, but maybe go on to the next one.
I think we explained for the first part. It's clear if candidate is not able to explain. Like we discussed about what is on his CV, what is on his experience, and is not able to explain why he has choose this over this and this. I think we explained that.
But maybe
yes, maybe the next slide after this. I remember seeing it somewhere. And maybe next one. Next one. I think it was 1 second.
About the feedback.
If it doesn't work out with the candidate. Okay, so I think it was referring to that one. That's the one where you explained where it didn't work out with the candidate. So what is the word?
It was hard to cut it short. Like this.
I'm sorry. We need the context, because I'm afraid I don't get the question completely.
Okay, maybe Dragos could then clarify additionally in chat, and we will now go on to the next question.
Yes.
Okay, the next question was actually one that I wrote again regarding some parts slides. It was the issue about candidates saying,
yes,
we did versus you asking their contribution. What happens if teams, some of them are working previously in a solo based, some of them working in mob based programming? How do you solve it in that situation?
I will give you one example, because there is a detail. We do lots of interviews in French. When we speak in French, it's quite often that people speaking in French, you say like this: "Hello, Adrien, can you explain what you did in your latest project, for example?" And Adrien will say, "On a travaillé on, which means basically we worked." And you say, "Okay, you worked on this project," and he will continue saying, on utilisé, on, and we, which is not really we. Like, we, but not we, but it's not really clear who exactly, and like I used, it's not me. And usually we say, okay, so you as a team, you achieved this particular goal. Fine, cool, great. And thanks for the information. Now, for example, you worked more on the code, you are teaching, you're writing diagrams, writing unit tests, integration tests. Can you be more specific about your implication? Because when we all, install a door, at some moment somebody will have the hammer in the hand. So we would like to know, did you use that hammer or did your colleague use that hammer? So we'd like to know what was your contribution to the thing. So we are interested as a team. For us, it's very important somebody mentioning the team. But in order to assess the person or to assess the skill set of that person, we need to know as well what this person did.
Valentina, you remember before we start, we discussed about testing, like mutation testing. I think we discussed about before we started.
Yeah.
We had one depth which said we did mutation testing.
Yes.
Okay, but what did you do? What did you implement it?
So did you wrote some tests basically?
Voilà. And what kind of framework did you use to do mutation testing? We expect that he said like PyTest or I don't know, something.
Mm-hmm.
Some framework.
Yes,
it doesn't matter. So or maybe not a framework. Maybe they did something.
Voilà. But asking question, we just understood that he just know the term mutation testing.
And the team did.
The team did everything. So he was just basically he was receiving feedback. He was looking at the
Jenkins results that the tests were failing.
So yes, they worked with mutation testing, but he did not put it in place. He did not write a test, and he just read the result. The result.
Build failed or build succeeded, basically.
That's why we ask. We are not interested about what the team has implemented. We are interested about what you implemented. It doesn't mean that it's bad that you did not do mutation testing.
No.
You know it's good, but what we are looking for is what did you practice?
How you contributed to the team. It's important to speak about the team, yes, but we are not assessing the team. We are assessing you, the candidate.
Voilà.
Exactly, and I just want to add, even in the cases of mob programming, at any given point, one person is typing, one person is speaking. Hence, even in that situation, someone can say, "I contributed to, I don't know, the idea of design."
I don't know. I started with unit test, and a colleague of mine did the implementation, and another one, I don't know, did the API part.
And even if it's mob, even if it does not have the keyboard, let's again take the example of mutation testing. He should be able, if they were in a mob doing that, the candidate should be able to explain exactly what happened.
Yes.
It was not like doing something else on his phone while people were implementing tests.
That's a good test. Excellent. Okay, we'll now get to the next one. Have you read Sandro Mancuso chapters about recruitment, the software craftsman? If yes, in what way do you think it relates to your experience?
I haven't read this is in my to-do list, but no, I haven't read.
Great. Yeah, you can maybe write some post or something in the future after you do read it.
Did you read this part?
I don't relate, no.
Mm-hmm. Okay, the other one was comments. So for diversity, it was about the same ratio in engineering school, about 5% of women. So it's not just IT, but broader. Then we also had some nice
about this part. What just a previous comment, what Ilias mentioned. Indeed, I was giving for 5 years. I was giving courses for Java and DDD and architecture and whatnot at university in France. And yes, the percentage is very small. And I was talking with the university to find ways to encourage girls to come to apply to the university. But it was for them, they were already saying that it's extremely hard. But they're just doing everything you want. And still we see this around 5%, which is Yes.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's a challenge that probably no one has really solved yet. Yeah, so in any case, we also have several more questions. Well, firstly, some thank you notes. So
Thank you.
this is nice. That okay. Then we get the next question. How do you inquire or measure passion?
We don't measure it, but I think it's easy to see. When we have candidates who say, what is your passion? I like to code, I like to learn, I go to
meetups.
You see it.
Well, how I see it, for example, in the passion, I think it's difficult to measure it, but in inquiry, this can be a thing. Yes, about what Adrien just said, we are asking, how do you learn in general? How do you practice? You only in your 8 hours?
I think we don't even have to ask.
True.
With the passionate candidates, basically, when we ask that they present themselves, first thing they say, I'm passionate.
True. Yes, usually this word
they say.
Yes. And how they master the tools. This is very important. For example, how you master your editor. People who are passionate, they really learn how to use a tool. For example, people who are really into 8 hours mindset, 8 hours of work mindset, they usually are using a cursor to select an auto-completion option, even if the cursor is in the other screen. So they'll bring the cursor to select the thing instead of pressing arrow down, enter, for example. Or people who are really writing the code with the shortcuts, but not necessarily with the shortcuts, but by leveraging the features of the tool that they are using, regardless of the tool, VS Code, IntelliJ, Eclipse, whatnot. This, for me, this is an example. Or people who are writing Java, or not, I'm saying Java, it's a habit. People who are writing code beforehand without creating files. So for example, I'll write code, my code will be read, but I'll write the services I want or the components I want. I'll write them in the code, and then with the IDE, I'm going to generate all of the boilerplate that I would have generated by hand. And for me, this is a passionate person who is focusing on the value. And another thing is people who are using the word product.
I think
not many, lots of people are using the word code, which is good.
But exactly, product is rare to find among software developers to use the word.
Saying I'm developing a second a product. Oh wow, okay, now we're talking. It's important.
I think that to write good code, you need passion.
Yes, absolutely.
Otherwise, you just stop when it works, and you don't have this passion to make it better.
Yes.
To make it clean.
Exactly. And another, similar, as you mentioned, those kind of candidates, they already talk about their interests, or they may already mention that they've read books or went to meetups or did some GitHub projects. Basically, they're showing some additional initiative that they had done, which is often quite a useful measure. Now, the next question, what is the ratio of accepted candidates? 70%, 75% for your round, but in total? And how many times per week do you invest in interviewing? Does it become a dedicated job?
If you can show our screen again, we have these metrics.
I will show it.
It was like, yes.
I think we received something like 200 CVs in total.
Yeah, but
something around
those statistics
for the candidates that we interviewed.
It was like exactly around 3% that of the candidates who said no.
The candidates who themselves said no, I don't like. But the 100% was around 101 candidates, I think, no? 102 or something like that. Right. So it's almost a matching between percentage and the candidates.
And what you can see in this diagram, around 15%, we say yes. We say yes, and candidates say yes.
Yes.
Which is
okay.
which looks not so big, but it's good.
Yeah.
It's okay. 1 on 10.
Yes.
It's good. It's higher than the percentage I was passing when I did interviews. So this is pretty good. My figures would tend to be vary also around maybe 10%. So I actually had even lower pass rates, or even sometimes in worst cases 5%. So it really varies around that kind of number due to having that kind of process. So if here, just everyone watching to understand that, so this means out of 100, if 100 candidates apply, for example, so 81% of those candidates will fail your interview process, and 16% will be yes from both sides. So both you say yes and the candidate says yes, so it leads to employment. And 3% was you maybe gave them an offer or they passed, but they, for example, decide not to go forward. So I guess the other related part of this question.
How many times? At first, it almost became a full-time job.
Yeah, for a couple of months, it was a full-time job.
But if we would have not changed our process,
100%.
We would have to hire someone to recruit with us.
Yes.
And once we have put in place the first contact part was really helpful to cut it short. Like really 10 minutes, 15 minutes, it's enough. Usually we know.
Yeah.
And
I can add to this part that does it become a dedicated job? It could be. For example, in my company, in the company I founded, this is an offer for the services that I'm offering. It's so with some companies, with some of my clients, we're actually doing only that. So it could become, but I can tell you it will be boring. If you do only this,
it would be boring. And I think that we also, it's, I don't know. We said in the introduction, we are not professional recruiter, which is still true. If one day we became professional recruiter and we do that for years, then we will not be aligned anymore with the technical aspects. We lose the contact with the teams, how they work, what are their daily problematics, etc., etc. We would lose the efficiency for sure. If we would become a full-time job, it would not have.
Yeah, it will not be so valuable. The result won't be so valuable.
Right.
So
yeah, definitely great points. Do you make differences in the way of working between consultants and permanent contractors?
Permanent contractors, I think you speak. I have a feeling a permanent contractor is internal. It's somebody who is hired by the bank.
I think that permanent contractor is essentially okay. So they're not an employee, but basically they generally work full time, and they are almost like an employee. At least that's my understanding. Of course,
what can we say is that in this context, especially for us, it's difficult to onboard someone and to invest time with someone. So we prefer to have people that are, let's say the opposite. We don't like people that are working for 2-3 months and they leave. If we
I don't. One moment. Let me rephrase it, because I think this is very French. It's not that we don't like those people. Just to be clear,
no, we like.
I think it's a different. I think what Adrien was wanted to say is, just to be clear, the process, yes, is the same. The process of hiring, of technical interviews, we don't care if it's a consultant or somebody who is hired by the bank, because we have only two these types: somebody who becomes an employee, somebody who is a consultant. for a period of time. The process is the same. However, when it comes to decision meaning yes, we continue with the candidate, no, we don't continue with the candidate, is what Adrien said. If it's somebody who will become an employee, we will assess much more deeper in possibilities, in way of this person is looking at the clean code, at the practices, at the things. I mean, at the end of the day, does it worth the investment? Because onboarding a person on a full time means quite a lot of investment in onboarding, potential investment in onboarding, keeping this person, making feel welcome, and lots of things. So if we are not sure with the candidate which will become potential regular employee, then it's highly likely that this will be a no-go, even though the process is the same. So we are taking into consideration this aspect because we want that not only we feel good with the candidate, but we want us all to feel good, because the candidate will not have anymore the candidate hat, will have the colleague hat. So
yeah, you explained it great. And also one other point with this kind of things with consultant and permanent, I think there is no real difference, because permanent or not permanent, they can resign anyway. So
yes.
Permanent, let's say like this, permanent can be 6 months.
Yeah.
And consultant can be 5 years,
Yeah.
6 years.
Yeah.
So it does not change in that way. In the process,
True.
the difference is that also we did not mention that because it's something else. But if it's permanent, like employee, he will also meet the HR.
Yes.
Fine.
Yes, for the employees, our HR department will be doing this HR
thing.
Yeah, the HR thing. Yes, with questions and psychological profile.
And we don't have any view or
No.
things to do, any word on that. It's the process.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Great. You're focused on the whole technical excellence skill set.
Yeah, perfectly said. Yeah,
exactly. It matches with the name of the meetup group as well. So that's why I say it twice. As an IT recruiter, I found myself in your stories. Okay, this is nice. We have actually not just developers, but IT recruiter here as well. So delighted to hear your thoughts and methods on how you are dealing with tech interviews. Thank you for sharing your experience. Okay, great. You're getting a lot of thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Viorica.
Okay. This part was on people starting discussing on the reason why it did not work out. I think that was related probably to the topics I guess that seems to be a popular one. Thanks for the presentation and sharing your experiences. Okay.
Thanks for being with us. Yes.
And can you share with us how do you work usually with your colleagues from the HR department? You discussed mostly about your part in interviews, but what part from recruiting process is doing by the HR?
This is a thing that I think we had somewhere in the slide, if I'm not mistaken, but indeed we haven't mentioned it. We're saying it's a thing where we say a person needs to be a candidate needs to see a start and an end of a process. This is crucial. It's highly important for the candidate to be clear when it starts, when the process starts, and when the process ends, and what is the exact result of this process. So indeed, what we did basically, we went like, hello HR, we received this CV, so let's do it in the following way. You ask when you have a job. When somebody from the business is saying, we need this person, you come to us, we give you this description by collaborating with that particular need. So we define a job posting, we validate it with the requester. This is what we think it should sound because this is how you described and blah, blah, blah. And then we go back to the recruiter. We tell the recruiter, this is job listing. The recruiter is posting that job listing, regardless if it was consultant or not. And then when the candidates start arriving, the recruiter will do the first interview based on the list of the feedbacks that we say, yes, we agree to go with this. Out of 10 CVs, we go with 3. So the recruiter will contact only the 3 people who passed the initial CV test, if you want. So that's the thing. And it's not only us who decide that. It's us, the business, it's multiple people from the team. So we will say, I think we should go with this candidate. You think we should go with the other candidate. So the recruiter will see both of them. You see? So in this way, we do a selection. From out of 10, we'll go for 5. And then out of 5, recruiter will say, we continue with 5 or we stop at 3 because reasons, with a detailed report on the reasons. And then with these 3 candidates, we'll go with the 30 minutes connection, the call, pardon. And then after the 30 minute call, we'll decide if we go further. And if yes, we go. If not, we stop the process and we say to the recruiter, we stop the process here, and the recruiter goes back and stops the process. Or we send, if it's a consultancy, then we tell to consultancy, we are sorry, but we are not continuing with this particular profile.
Mm-hmm. We had also in the past some negotiation, like in the job offers, there was usually part in the job offer that were written by the requester, could be the team or manager or voilà. And some other parts were like standardized HR thing, like you need to have minimum 5 years of graduation after school and this and this.
Flying permit, ski experience.
No, but almost that.
Driving licenses.
No.
Multiple languages.
Like for us, it was like the same as asking for driving license. And the biggest discussion that we had was to remove this education 5 years because we thought it has no benefits and it could even be dangerous.
Because people can say, oh, I have only 4 years, an expert, but I'm having only 4 years, and then they wrote 5 years. I'm not qualifying for the job. No.
Yes, exactly. And maybe someone can even be have 2 years of experiences, but be really talented and put in a lot of the self-initiative in learning and can write better code than someone who was writing code for 10 years. I mean, I've seen it plenty of times.
Yes.
So that's definitely a good point. Now, in your answers, you were mentioning the word recruiter a lot. Now, coming back to the question, since it mentions the HR department, does it mean, some companies who have HR department, they can use the HR. Some people have recruiters, then recruiters, but it's same answer.
When we said recruiter, is mostly about the role, not title, job title.
No. Okay, but it's HR. You're referring to HR in the company.
Yes.
HR, they are not looking for the same thing. For sure, they delegate us the technical aspects and also the career aspects. We don't care if the people we are interviewing, I don't know if they want to become a CTO in the company or this. We don't. It's not
in 5 years.
Voilà, it's not our.
It's not something in our plate.
Voilà, something. Also, I know they like to know how the candidate is interested by the company itself. Is the candidate asking questions about the company, the thing, and that those aspects we are not interesting for us.
Not that much. We might consider the questions, but usually we don't. It depends. It really depends. This is
And
really
also all the salary package.
Oh yeah. This we don't care.
We don't care
about it.
So the HR would essentially, if I understood it correctly, so it goes like this. So there's a person who's requesting a new team member. So it could be a team who needs an additional team member or some engineering manager. So someone has a need.
Yeah.
Then that person speaks, if I remember, to
With
you
HR.
first, with HR. Sorry, it's with HR first, and then HR would contact you because they need you for the technical description. You would together collaboratively with HR write the job ad, because the job ad it contains both technical aspects but also maybe psychological or who knows what other personnel characteristics. So it could be collaborative work. Then HR puts up the job ad. Now when the applicants come in, you mentioned you do the CV screening, so not the HR, but you're doing the screening.
You also there are also, so we worked with HR, so I think we have answered that. There are also a few ways. I don't want to go into every details, but in the past years, as we said, we've seen hundreds of CVs and hundreds of candidates. It was mostly for external consultants. For internal jobs.
Let's put it shorter. So we do one part of the CV screening. We do it, and the team does it as well, because usually the CV goes to us, somebody from the team, and to the manager. We all do a certain part of the screening, not all of it, because the HR, for example, take out, what you mentioned, the sport coach. So the HR will take things that are completely unrelated. And then we do the initial screening of CVs, and then the HR will go and contact those people, and then come back to us and say, okay, out of 5 that you approved, there are 3 that I approve now. And then with these 3, we continue.
Okay, great point. They're doing the initial filtering before it goes on to you. After you finish all the technical stuff, then HR will communicate the final feedback. Okay, great. We also had another thank you message.
Welcome.
And also a comment, I have the same ratio and it's really time consuming. I think this is the biggest feedback about.
Anthony, what you can try is in what we presented, try maybe to set up this first contact meeting and see the result. You probably...
It's really efficient.
Voilà.
It's very, very efficient.
Yeah.
Because if you have this ratio, that doesn't mean we spend a lot of time with it. So eventually we reduce the spend time on this.
Mm-hmm. And even regarding that first screening, I've personally found it really helpful and predictive, and I even cut down the time to 15 minutes because you can really tell a lot. I try to get a sense of both the person technically, what's their level, mainly about, I found that motivation about quality was also strongly correlated with performance on quality. Just their interest in clean code or other similar things, and also their willingness to learn and their willingness to share knowledge. I've found those ones to be quite predictive, even from just the initial 15 minutes and translating later. We also have another thanks for your presentation and answers. Thanks. Great insights, Mercy. Wow, okay, you've got, I think, probably one of the biggest number of thank yous up to now, and also now finally like a thank you from myself as well. I really liked this meetup topic because it's a topic which is not discussed too much. I mean, many times people have meetups about TDD or clean code or something like that, but the actual problem that companies are facing, the ones who are actually looking for tech excellence, is how do you actually bring in these people. So from I guess the key takeaway from this whole session is if there's engineering leaders who are watching this meetup, or maybe also tech CEOs, CTOs, whoever else is in a leadership position, tech leads as well as HR recruiters. If your company is a company which is looking for people who will fit into a technical excellence culture, don't just assess Java, .NET, or some other tech stack, but actually assess and don't assess memorization of algorithms either, but assess what's actually needed for the job. So basically, the biggest problem that we have in business software is maintenance cost. So by assessing the ability to write clean code, it's already a strong predictor of future success.
Yes.
So yeah, I just want to say thanks a lot. I really enjoyed this whole session.
Thank you, Valentina, for the invitation.
Yes, it was a big pleasure, and thank for letting us speak about this.
And I think it all started with your post on LinkedIn about recruitment.
Yes.
So
yes.
it was the beginning of our motivation to share this with you.
Yes.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I'm really glad that we had this opportunity for you to share your experiences, and hopefully maybe something in the future as well. So yeah, I just want to also say thanks a lot to our viewers as well. And just to finish off, so feel free to join us on Meetup in order to get notifications about our future events. Also, since many people already said thank you, feel free to like this video and also subscribe to our channel. Additionally, you can follow us on LinkedIn and Twitter to get future updates. And also you can check out our GitHub page. So thanks again to everyone, and have a good day. So bye for now.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.